Hey, how's it going guys? Captain Kuba here, and it was real. I was waiting to wake up today to see if the trailer was actually there, and it was. I think we can all agree this is not a fever dream, and the God of War Ragnarok reveal actually happened. And what a reveal it was. I thought Santa Monica was just going to show us a gameplay demo and call it a day, but they came out swinging with a 3-minute trailer full of story as well as gameplay details that will keep us busy for a while. Today is day 1 of Santa Monica keeping me busy. As promised, this video is going over 23 things you might have missed in the trailer. Some are obvious, but we need to talk about them nonetheless, and some are really cool details that I don't think anyone has talked about them yet. This is only the beginning for God of War Ragnarok content on this channel. I still need to talk about Odin, Jormungandr, time travel, and the new director, to be honest. But for now, let's just focus on what we saw in the trailer. So with that out of the way, here are 23 things you might have missed from the trailer.
You'll get your answers soon enough. Well, some of them.
Yeah, I told you I was gonna go over things that seem obvious. So yes, this is the new look for Kratos and Atreus. Kratos looks about the same with the new addition of a cape, but notice how he doesn't have the Blades of Chaos in this shot. I'm gonna talk about this later. Next we have our second protagonist, Atreus. And much like I predicted, he looks about 3 years older. Something interesting about his new design is the addition of the color yellow to his clothing, which as Cory Barlog has said before, it's Faye's color. This means that Atreus will be exploring his giant heritage a lot more in this game. Something else fans pointed out is the Loki symbolism. When we first see him, he's carrying a deer, but his silhouette makes it seem like he has horns. This might be fans reading too much into it, but it could also be a cool nod to the Marvel movies.
Time is running out. The prophecies say Fimbulwinter leads to Ragnarok.
Here we see Atreus holding a tiny blue sphere with the word Hati. Hati is the wolf that swallows the moon before Ragnarok begins. I'm not really sure where Atreus got this blue sphere, but it seems like it might be important to the story. In any case, it seems like he got this blue sphere very early in the game, because they're still in Midgard.
War is coming! My story!
And here we see the first shot of a new traversal mechanic for the game, a sled. And something people wanted me to talk about is the wolves pulling this sled. Many think that these are the wolves Skull and Hati, the ones that swallow the sun and the moon. And that could be the case, but I just find it weird that such important characters in Norse mythology are given the role of pulling Kratos and Atreus around Midgard. Instead, I think these are just two wolves Atreus has learned to control in order to help them in their mission.
It doesn't end hiding in these woods. I should be out there, finding out who I am, who Loki is.
I will not allow you to pick a fight with gods.
Here we see the first shot of Freya. On the PlayStation blog, Santa Monica reveals that Freya will be one of the two main antagonists for this game, so don't expect her to be just a side enemy Kratos will fight. For her appearance, we can see that she still wears the necklace with Baldur's name. She's also sticking with her makeup look from the ending of God of War 2018, although in this context it's more like war paint. Now, the important thing in this scene is the fact that she can fight Kratos. I'm sure you guys remember, but in the previous game we learned that Odin put a curse on her that would never allow her to harm anyone. It seems this curse will be lifted by the start of the next game very early on. Did she do it herself? Did she get Odin to help her? That we don't know yet.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want answers.
And if those answers lead to war with Asgard,
Maybe that's what Mother wanted.
we do not know what Mother wanted.
Well,
And here we have what I think is the funniest clip in the whole trailer. Mimir flipping a book's pages with a spoon. That's all I have to say here.
I recognize that dour expression anywhere.
Here we see another clip of the new form of traversal for the game. But what I want you to notice is the thing to the right side. At first I thought this was some kind of bell, but I think this is actually Tyr's statue's head from the Lake of Nine. How could this have happened? I really don't know. It might have been the strong winds of Fimbulwinter, but that seems unlikely. Maybe a giant creature that doesn't like Tyr very much. I say this because this is what happened to Thor's statue in the first game. So maybe this is what happened here. But in any case, we have not seen this giant creature yet.
Odin's got tricks up his sleeve. We have.
Here we see two ravens. These could be just two plain ravens, but they could also be hugging and mooning following Kratos and Atreus on behalf of Odin. I say this because the director has confirmed Odin will be in this game. so maybe he's following Kratos and Atreus from the beginning.
But dare to consider.
What if there was someone who could help us?
You mean Tyr, the old god of war?
Here we see the first shadows of Svartalfheim, the land of the dwarves, and it seems like this realm is going to be just as big as Midgard, if not bigger. Santa Monica has confirmed in their blog that we'll be able to visit all 9 realms in this game. So this is nothing, there's still a lot more to see. Also, this is the first time we see Kratos once again using the Blades of Chaos, and look at how rusty they've become. Just like how Kratos found them in God of War 2018 the first time. This might indicate that after the events of God of War 2018, Kratos once again hid the blades under his house for 3 years until Ragnarok arrived. This might be how Santa Monica explains away why the blades need to be leveled up once again.
These lands, who is dead?
Well, for a dead man, Odin seemed pretty keen on seeing he wasn't found.
If he's out there, we gotta find him.
Here in the distance we see a statue of someone who seems to be important. I say that because people who are not important usually don't get statues. But notice how he doesn't look like a dwarf. One of my fans shared his theory with me, and he seems to think this might be Odin. This might sound crazy, but Odin has actually entered into an agreement with the dwarves to protect them from the Hellwalkers if they don't make weapons for Vanaheim. So maybe the dwarves see Odin as some kind of hero and this is why they made him a statue. This doesn't apply to Brock and Sindri though, which we'll talk about just now.
Come in!
Here we see the introduction to Sindri. Not much to say about him aside from mentioning how he has a new armor, but what I want you to notice is where he's entering. I believe this is Brock and Sindri's house or forge in Svartalfheim.
What? All yarns be the happen.
Look at how small all the furniture is, as well as the doorway. Now, something else I find interesting about this shot is the tree in it. Doesn't this tree look familiar? Somehow the branches of the World Tree have entered Brock and Sindri's home. This might explain how dwarves can travel between realms without Tyr's bridge. Maybe Svartalfheim is the only realm that has branches of the World Tree breaking through the ground and the dwarves have found a way to harness its power to travel between realms just like Sindri mentions in the first game.
It's a little trick my people can pull. A special way of not being seen.
You can be invisible?
More like I can step into the realm between realms. And your mind doesn't understand what it's seeing, so it sees nothing at all. That's how we avoid ever having to actually use the weapons we craft.
We're trying to stop Ragnarok, to help people.
And here we have the introduction of a new character. According to an image found on Santa Monica's Instagram, this dwarf's name is Durlin. I personally couldn't find this name during my very limited search of his name, but I think I narrowed it down to 2 candidates. Durin, who can also be called Duling, or Dalvin. In any case, these are 2 dwarves who work together to create the sword Tyrfing, a sword that can cut through anything but has the negative impact of killing the one who draws it. Maybe this dwarf will create a similar weapon for Kratos. He also seems to have a pet octopus, but this might actually be a baby kraken, since Norse mythology is where this creature originates. But if you think this dwarf is someone else, make sure to let me know in the comment section below.
And what if the only way to do that is war?
This is a new addition to Traversal that has me really excited. The ability to grapple certain ledges. This is very similar to what Kratos did in God of War 2 with the grapple points. We just now saw the return of the classic L1 and circle move from God of War 3. This might actually be the same grapple move we saw before, only performed on an enemy. And now we're about to see what looks to be a jump plus an attack.
War is not the only way.
Stop thinking like a father for a moment and start thinking like a general.
No! You seem like a calm and reasonable person. Are you a calm and reasonable person?
You just heard the voice of the second antagonist of this game, Thor. Eric Williams, the director of this game, has confirmed that Thor will be voiced in mocap by Ryan Hurst. And I think it would have been impossible to get someone to look the Viking part more than him. But I'll be honest, I'm not too happy about Thor's design. He just doesn't look very intimidating. Maybe give him a cape or something, maybe make him taller. I think he's as big as Modi, if not smaller. And that's just odd for someone who's supposed to kill Kratos. Here we see a brand new enemy that seems to be descending from Asgard in what looks to be Marvel's Bifrost. But this can't be, because this is what a God of War Bifrost looks like. So this looks cool, but I hope Santa Monica doesn't retcon the first game. Here we see another shot of an enemy that many fans are making the connection to the crocodile from Fallen God. but we're very lucky that this is not the case. Santa Monica revealed in the blog that these creatures are called Drekkies, the Norse word for dragon. So this might be a baby dragon encounter that will happen many times during their adventure. Also, this might be the first look we have at Vanaheim.
In moments of crisis.
Here we see yet another shot of a new enemy Kratos and Atreus will fight during the course of their new adventure. Santa Monica calls this the Stalker. At first I thought this was a centaur from Greek mythology, but that is not the case. I'll explain why later. But I want you to look at the environment. This looks like the bridge where Kratos and Atreus fought the first wolves in God of War 2018. This fight could take place very close to their house and very early in the game as well. And here we have our good friends the Dark Elves, and it seems they might be fighting on our side in the next game. As one of my fans pointed out, they seem to be attacking this new enemy type. Here we get a better shot of this new enemy, and at first it seems like a new variation of the Dark Elves, but this might actually be a Light Elf warrior. Corey Barlog made us question in the first game whether Kratos and Atreus made the right choice of giving the Light of Alfheim back to the Light Elves. Maybe this will be the result.
No, it can't be.
What does it say?
That we made a grave mistake.
Panic does nothing. Harness it.
And here's why I don't think this new enemy is a centaur from Greek mythology. It's got runes on his legs. This is a Norse creature. I tried translating the runes, but I couldn't recognize some of them, and the movement was too fast. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what this creature is when the game comes out. Now this is something really interesting. It appears the Guardian Shield is going to be customizable. The Guardian Shield in God of War 2018 is round, but this one has a rectangular shape. And in the next shot we see another type of shield, one that has an oval shape. I'm not sure how this mechanic will come into play, but I can't wait to play it. Also, Atreus is riding one of his summons, another indication that his powers have grown, something really cool to see.
Let it serve you.
Tyr!
And here we see the reveal of Tyr. I told you he was freaking alive. Anyway, this Tyr is tied to a wall, and many have pointed out why he doesn't simply break the rope. Some have suggested this is a rope very similar to the one used in the binding of Fenrir, but I think the reason is less mythological. I think Tyr has simply given up. This is why Kratos asked him if he's coming with them.
Are you coming with us?
Also, notice how the background is different from the previous shot. These are two different cutscenes placed after each other, so it seems like one.
You'll get your answer soon enough.
And lastly, we see Angrboda as confirmed by Eric Williams during the interview after the showcase. Angrboda is the mother of Jormungandr, Fenrir, and Hel. You can see her depicted in one of the murals of the first game. I'm not sure how Atreus and her will have these children, but I think it will be done through magical means. Also, some fans have been asking me about where this cutscene takes place. Many think this is Jotunheim because of the mountain in the back, and the reason there's vegetation is because this scene takes place in the past. This theory is not bad since time travel was hinted at in the first game, but the new director has confirmed that Angrboda is the last giant alive, meaning that this takes place in the present. Plus, the environment looks more like Vanaheim, with plants releasing spores into the air. In any case, it seems that Angrboda will be accompanying Kratos and Atreus for some of their missions.
Well, some of them.
So there you have it guys, 23 details you might have missed in the God of War Ragnarok trailer. This is easily one of the best trailers in the series. The amount of details in it is outstanding, so make sure to let me know if you see any I missed. There's still other things I want to talk about regarding this game. First on my list is the story of the game and the new director, but in the meantime I'll be working on some theories for you, so hopefully I can try and predict the entire story for the game. So with that said, I want to thank all of my members for supporting the channel monthly. People like Tesh Indir, Lokoyo, and Edios to name a few are a big reason this channel is still going. And if you're still on the fence about joining the channel, remember that I occasionally bring them on for calls so they can share their theories live. That might be something you want to do. I would also like to thank everyone who likes and shares my videos. My channel exploded yesterday and it's all thanks to you guys. So with that said, thanks for watching, and remember, go forth in the name of Ragnarok.